What you're about to see is Jorge Masvidal and Joe Rogan talk about the glimpses of communism that keep on appearing year after year in America. And because Jorge comes from a Cuban family, I've always said this, the people who have been through this, the ones that have had family that have been through this, as soon as they see a little bit of compelled speech here, a little restriction there, as soon as they start seeing little bits of that, their spidey senses perk right up. And they are the people that we should listen to. They really are the people that we should listen to. And Jorge has no problem speaking his mind about this subject. And that's why I love Jorge Masvidal. I don't usually watch the MMA episodes, but as soon as I saw his name, I knew that he was going to get into this type of talk. Can't wait to show it to you guys. Let's get into it.
Be alive, man. It's a strange tumult. It's a time that could lead to terrible things, or we could come out of this better.
Look
That's
all
what's
around
scary.
the world, though. It's only led to terrible things in the world. I always have felt that, especially from hearing it from my dad, that escaped communism at an early age. He brought himself on over at a raft, landed
Your
in the
dad
Bahamas.
came from Cuba on a
Came from
raft?
Cuba. When he was 14, 15 years old, him, his best friend, and his best friend's uncle came up with a plan that they were going to escape. So they found a tire tractor, turned it into a raft, hit the sea. 7 days later, he landed to the Bahamas. From the Bahamas, he got extradited to the USA, straight to the projects, and began his journey here in America. So, he always would tell me, sorry about that.
No worries. All my friends that have family that has come from a communist country, I have some friends that came from Eastern Bloc countries. I have friends that came from Venezuela. I have friends that have come from Cuba, like Joey. Joey does not want to hear any of that shit. You try to say that to Joey Diaz, it's like,
None of us.
This fucking shit always goes bad. Always. Every
Shout out
time.
to Joey, bro. He's one of the fucking coolest dudes I've ever
He's the
met, period,
best.
bro.
Joey Diaz is the funniest fucking human being I've ever met in my life.
But he has nothing good to say about that regime.
Nothing.
No,
Nothing.
nobody actually lived it. That's why when I see Kaepernick, he went to Miami and had a fucking Che Guevara shirt.
There was some controversy here locally with some remarks in the newspaper about Castro, and not to get away from the game, but any further thoughts on that? There was a little bit of coming to South Florida here. There was some booze at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, what I said was I agree with the investment in education. I also agree with the investment in free universal health care, as well as the involvement in helping end apartheid in South Africa. I would hope that everybody agrees those things are good things. And trying to push the false narrative that I was a supporter of the oppressive things that he did is just not true.
These fucking T-shirts that all these dopey liberal
I won't
kids.
put those fucking things
It's
on.
fucking crazy. If you find out who that guy is, you're wearing a mass murderer's T-shirt.
I want to call out the guy that shredded it all, Colin Kaepernick, and not because he's kneeling during the game. As a Cuban American, I was offended, and a lot of Cuban Americans and Cubans were offended at the post-conference press conference. He wore a Fidel Castro T-shirt. And I just want to educate my friend Colin Kaepernick a little bit as a Cuban. So if you can get the camera on me, I want to talk to Colin personally. Please do a little bit of research. While Fidel Castro is a very romantic leader for some, he happens to be the dictator of an oppressive country where free speech is not allowed, where they have healthcare and education, but you cannot protest the government. And if you were doing that, this public display of protest in Cuba, you'd be thrown in jail. So at best, you're uninformed and unaware, but at worst, you're a little self-righteous and ignorant. I suggest you take a Latin American history course.
This dude slaughtered fucking thousands of people, family of mine, friends of my family, and just to take power. This guy was so fucked up that he had the wall removed from his own office so he could see the firing squad eliminating people. And these are the people you put on T-shirts. And if you believe in them so much, like any of these guys that advocate for socialism or communism, go live over there, dog. Go just
Right.
1 year. I dare you, bro. I fucking dare you, bro, because you wouldn't make it one day over there, Kaepernick or any of these fucks advocating for socialism, communism, And what I was saying earlier is that look all over the world, Venezuela, Brazil, Colombia, Ukraine. It's gotten bad overnight, and what used to be the standard of fighting communism, socialism, is now somewhat semi-adapted in this country, progressive socialism, or what are they calling?
Yeah, they call it democratic socialism.
Democratic socialism. Get the fuck out of here with that, bro.
They think that they're going to be able to do it the right way.
There
It's
is no
never
right
been
way.
done the right way. They think, but they don't understand that that kind of thing always leads to top-down power. It always leads to dictatorships. It
'Cause
always
it
leads to
always-
someone enforcing.
Always.
And those people always have castles and fucking billions of dollars, and everybody lives in poverty.
The only thing that's promised you in communism and socialism is equal misery for everybody else except the fucking elite of elite, you know? And these people out there might be listening like, oh, I'm a billionaire or a millionaire. No, you're not the elite still. It's a different fucking power structure for those guys that, you know, most of us ain't gonna fucking ever get to come around, you know, and that's just for them, you know. Like California, perfect example. What happens when you adopt these fucking shit policies, bro, in a great country like ours, bro? I think 1,000% we are the beacon of light for the whole world. When we're doing good, the whole world is fucking doing good. When we're fighting against that shit, that fucking pure evil, well, the whole world's doing better. And look how good we were doing with Trump just like 2-3 years ago. Like fucking this wannabe president took over now. The whole world's gone to shit real fucking quick. Look at China, Taiwan, China, Hong Kong, all this shit. I don't think none of this would have happened if Trump was in power, brother. I fucking seriously believe that.
It probably would have been much different for sure. And, you know, if we could get sensible policies and a sensible, like someone who's fiscally conservative to take over these states and put them back on track, it would be better for everybody. That's what people don't understand. It's better for the poor people. It's better for there's more jobs. When the economy is doing better, everybody does better. And
Small government.
Yeah, man. It's just
Never
like,
give them the power, you know.
never give them the fucking power. But it's so hard for people to wrap their head around that because they think that socialism is like a more equitable, fair way to live life.
It's not.
They just think it because they don't have any money. They don't understand that the people that do have money, they are manipulating you. The whole thing is manipulation, and it's top-down manipulation. And once they get complete control, if they get something like some sort of a social credit score system and a digital currency, we're fucked.
Like China?
Like China, exactly.
It forces us to be well behaved.
It may seem scary, but it's just like that here. We're used to it, and anyway, we don't have a choice.
But in an effort to keep all of its subjects in line, Beijing is taking the system a step further in 2020. It's aggregating data gathered by banks, private companies, and the state to rate if someone's a good or bad citizen.
By using the most data possible, the so-called big data, the system will play an important role in rebuilding a moral society.
The state will go over every detail of a person's life with a fine-tooth comb. Their financial situation, spending habits, career, even behavior on social media.
If you listen to what they're saying, it sounds, and I love the fact that he brought up that whole top-down thing, because that's what Jordan Peterson's been talking about too when he's talking about what? The WEF. Everything that they're explaining is their ideologies. The poor people are the ones that suffers. It's pure manipulation. That's exactly what the WEF has been working on worldwide for decades. But I mean, I think we can all agree maybe it's because of the internet, but it's been like kicked into hyper gear, probably because there's only 4.5 years left before the 2030 agenda. But it's wild, man. And I just, again, watch this episode. Skim through the fighting parts if you don't like the whole fighting thing. Like just get through that stuff, because or even look up Masvidal just talking about this stuff, because it's eye-opening. It's eye-opening. Like I say, I'm Cuban. I'm Cuban descent. My dad was Cuban. His parents were Cuban. And then my other side is not Cuban. So I haven't been through it like they have. But there are people who are young, like Masvidal, who have like seen it and feel it. You know, listening to them is always so eye-opening. And no matter what side you're on, it's eye-opening. Because if you think that socialism coming here is good and that it's going to make things fairer, it's like, listen to these guys. They can tell you the outcome. It's like we don't have to just test things out. Like, about that friend that we all have that has to learn lessons on his own, even though it's like he can easily see what someone else has been through, and he can just detail their experience, and he can understand what happens when they do that. He has to do it himself. Like, that's like what kind of track we're on right now. It's like, oh no, we had like like the left, these progressive, they're like, oh, no, we have to try because we'll be able to do it right. We're not like those people. It's like nobody's like those people until they get into power. Castro probably wasn't even like Castro when he wasn't in power. When Castro was just a regular guy, when Che Guevara was just a regular guy, they're probably just regular and they're probably just like, oh, it's going to be. And then they got the power and they changed. That's what happens. You get that power and you change, you know? I don't know. But again, this is episode, let me just verify that again for you guys. Make sure I got it right. It's episode 137 of the JRE MMA show. Check it out. It's absolutely amazing. And other than that, I'm out. As always, if this episode brought you any value, please hit that subscribe button, hit those notifications, please share with a friend, and thank you so much for 31,000 subscribers. Our new goal is 35,000 subscribers. Every single subscriber helps us bring out new shows, helps us gain sponsorship eventually, which who knows what company will actually touch this show for sponsorship, but I'm sure there's one out there. And also it helps us gain researchers. And again, if you're one of those people who could be a researcher, please hit me up.